My name is Olivia. I'm 16 years old, and this is something I need to tell someone, even if it's just the void of the internet. Because if I don't speak up, I think I'm going to completely lose it. It all started 3 weeks ago. Not with horror. Not with fear. It started with a stupid move on a rainy Thursday in October to a house I didn't choose, in a neighborhood I didn't know, in Lexington, Kentucky. My parents divorced in August. I won't go into details because, frankly, it doesn't matter. Dad stayed in Oregon. My mom and I moved here because she got a better job. A fresh start, she said, as if moving to another state would fix the hole that divorce left in everything. The house is old, not the scary kind from a horror movie, at least not at first glance. It's just old. That kind of 1970s construction, with peeling beige wallpaper, brownish-green carpet, and a musty smell that no air freshener can completely mask. My room is on the second floor, small. A single window overlooking the backyard, where there's a dead tree that looks like it could fall at any moment. The bed is against the left wall. That wall divides my room from nothing. The hallway, I think, or an empty space between the rooms. Strange architecture. When we arrived, all I wanted to do was sleep. I was exhausted, emotionally, physically. You know that kind of tiredness that aches in your chest, the kind that makes you want to disappear for a few hours? But the house was noisy, not in an obvious way. It wasn't scary yet. It was just annoying. The kind of noise old houses make. Wood creaking with changing temperatures, old plumbing groaning, wind coming in through cracks you can't see. My mother works as a nurse on the night shift, so, for the first week, I was alone, very alone. And it was in that solitude that I began to notice, first night, all good. Unpacking boxes, making the bed, putting up some posters on the wall to hide the awful wallpaper. Normal. Second night, I tried to go to bed early. The new school started on Monday, and I wanted to be, I don't know, mentally prepared. I lay down, put on headphones, a lo-fi playlist, that kind of thing. That's when I felt it. I didn't hear. I felt. Have you ever had the feeling that someone is watching you? Not out of paranoia, but that physical sensation, almost like a tingling in the back of your neck, that makes you turn your head without even thinking. I took off my headphones. Silence. I looked around. Nothing. Door closed. Window locked. Hallway light leaking under the door. I went back to bed. A few minutes later, I heard a creaking sound coming from the wall next to my bed. It wasn't loud, it was soft, as if someone had leaned their body weight against the other side or dragged something heavy. Slow. Guided. I stared at the wall, beige wallpaper with faded flowers, a thin crack near the baseboard. Nothing out of the ordinary. The creaking stopped. I took a deep breath. It's an old house, Olivia. Relax. I tried to sleep again, but that feeling of being watched didn't go away. I swore that if I turned my back to that wall, something would happen. So I spent the night looking at her, and the wall did nothing. But I felt that she knew that I was awake. Tuesday was a blur. I spent the day at school like a zombie. Deep, dark circles under my eyes, hands trembling with exhaustion. The history teacher asked if I was okay. I lied. I said yes. How was I going to explain it? Oh, is there something breathing inside the wall of my room? They were going to send me straight to my advisor, or worse, call my mother. And my mother. She already had so much on her mind. Double shifts, bills to pay, trying to keep her head above water after the divorce. I wasn't going to unload my paranoia on her, so I didn't say anything. I got home at 4:30. Same routine, empty house, note on the fridge. Loneliness as heavy as a wet blanket. This time, I avoided the room. I stayed in the living room. TV on, volume up, anything to fill the silence. I watched 3 episodes in a row of some random series. I don't even remember which one. 7 o'clock at night, 8, 9. I knew I needed to go upstairs. I knew I needed to sleep, but I was afraid. Fear of the wall. I was afraid of what I was going to hear. 9:40. I took a deep breath. You'll have to go up in an hour. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step creaked. Dark hallway. My bedroom door was ajar, just as I had left it. I went in. I turned on all the lights. The bedside lamp, the ceiling light. Even the colorful LED light I had placed on the shelf. The room was bathed in pink and blue light. Ridiculous, I know, but it made me feel less vulnerable. I lay down on the bed, phone in hand, headphones on, playlist at full volume, trying to drown out any outside noise. But you can't suppress the feeling, and I could feel it, that presence, that invisible pressure, as if the air in the room were heavier near the wall. 11 o'clock at night. I took off my headphones. Silence. I looked at the wall. Beige wallpaper. Faded flowers. A thin crack. Nothing. I went back to bed. And then I heard it. A hiccup. Low. Muffled. As if it came from very far away. But at the same time, right there. I sat up in bed. My heart was racing. Another hiccup. Clearer now. Someone was crying. Inside the wall. It wasn't a loud cry. It was restrained. Desperate. The kind of cry someone makes when trying not to make a sound, but can't hold it in. Hiccup. Pause. Hiccup. Pause. I froze. Because the crying was from a girl. Young. My age, perhaps. And it was coming from the same place where I had heard the breathing the night before. My mind went into panic. I tried to rationalize. Neighbors? No. The wall doesn't share a boundary with another house. Plumbing. It doesn't make that sound. Animals. Impossible. The crying continued. And then, he changed. It got closer, as if the person had moved, crawled, come closer to the surface. I should have left the room. I should have gone downstairs, left the house, called someone. But I stayed, frozen, staring at that damned wall, and the crying began to transform. The hiccups became less frequent, more controlled. And among them, I heard something new. A whisper, so low that I almost thought I had imagined it. But it was there. A voice. Weak. Trembling. Help. My blood froze. Please, help. The voice was muffled, as if it came from underwater, or from inside something cramped, suffocating. I couldn't move. It's dark in here. My breathing was shallow. Rapid. My hands were sweating. And then the crying stopped. Suddenly, it's as if someone had flipped a switch. Absolute silence. I waited. 1 minute, 2, 5, nothing. Only the sound of my own heart pounding in my chest. Slowly, I lay down again. Light on, headphones at maximum volume. But I knew that wasn't normal. It wasn't the house. It wasn't my imagination. There was someone inside, or something, and she wanted help. Wednesday morning, I finally broke down. My mother arrived at 7 after her shift. She found me asleep sitting on the bed, light on, headphones still in my ears. She woke me with a gentle touch on my shoulder. "Olivia, honey, did you sleep like that?" I opened my eyes. Everything hurt. Neck, back, head. "I think so." She frowned. She placed her hand on my forehead. checking for a fever. You look terrible. Do you want to skip work today? I wanted to. God, how I wanted to. But missing it meant staying home. Alone. With that wall. No. I'm fine. I just slept badly. She sighed. That tired sigh of a mother who has 1,000 worries and doesn't know which one to deal with first. Okay, but if it gets worse, call me. Okay? I'm going to sleep now. I have another shift tonight. And she left. I stood there, staring at the wall. Daylight streaming in through the window. Everything seems normal. But I knew what I had heard. The crying. The whispers. Help. It's dark in here. I needed to tell someone. Wednesday morning. I finally broke down. My mother arrived at 7 and after her shift. She found me asleep, sitting on the bed, light on, headphones still in my ears. She woke me with a gentle touch on my shoulder. Olivia. Honey, did you sleep like that? I opened my eyes. Everything hurt. Neck, back, head. I think so. She frowned. She placed her hand on my forehead, checking for a fever. You look terrible. Do you want to skip school today? I wanted to. God, how I wanted to. But missing it meant staying home, alone, with that wall. No, I'm fine. I just slept badly. She sighed. That tired sigh of a mother who has 1,000 worries and doesn't know which one to deal with first. Okay, but if it gets worse, call me. Okay? I'm going to sleep now. I have another shift tonight. And she left. I stood there, staring at the wall, daylight streaming in through the window. Everything seems normal. But I knew what I had heard. The crying. The whispers. Help. It's dark in here. I needed to tell someone. At school, I tried. I really tried. At lunch, I sat near 2 girls from my English class. They were talking about some drama on Instagram. I waited for an opening. Hey, can I ask you something kind of strange? They looked at me. Curious, but not hostile. Of course, said the one with curly hair. Have you ever heard strange things at home? Like sounds that don't make sense? The other girl, who had glasses, shrugged. Like what? I don't know. Crying. Whispering. They exchanged a glance. Is your house haunted or something? Asked the curly-haired girl, half laughing. No, forget it. It was nonsense. They resumed talking amongst themselves. I remained silent. It wouldn't work. Nobody would believe it. I got home at 4. My mother had already left. This time, I couldn't avoid it. I needed to get my chemistry notebook that I had forgotten in my room. I went up the stairs. The door was ajar. I went in. Sunlight still illuminated the room. Everything seemed harmless. I grabbed the notebook from the desk. I turned to leave. And then I heard it. My own voice, coming from the wall. Forget it. It was nonsense. I froze. It was my voice. Exactly as I had spoken at lunch, but it was coming from the wall, muffled, echoed, like a recording. My heart raced. Hello? I said. My voice trembled. Silence. And then, a few seconds later, hello? My voice. Back, coming out of the wall. It wasn't a mechanical repetition. It was perfect. The intonation, the hesitation, the fear. I stepped back. I dropped the notebook. Who's there? I waited. 3 seconds. Who's there? Tears began to burn in my eyes. Stop it, I shouted. Break. So as to... My own voice, screaming back, desperate. I ran out of the room. I went downstairs. I locked the living room door. I sat on the sofa, hugging my legs, trembling. It wasn't possible. It wasn't real. But it was 8 o'clock at night. I was avoiding going upstairs. I knew I needed to sleep. But how? How could I sleep knowing that that one? Was he there? Copying my voice, repeating my words. 9:30. I couldn't take it anymore. My eyes were burning with exhaustion. Suffered. I went into the room. I turned all the lights back on. I lay down on the bed, facing the wall. "Please," I whispered. "Stop it." Silence. A few seconds later, "Please, stop it." A tear rolled down my face. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice breaking. Break. "What do you want?" And then, for the first time, something different. After my voice echoed, something else came. A whisper. Lower. Darker. "To go out." I froze. That wasn't an echo. It was a response. "Go out?" I asked, trembling. Silence. Long. Heavy. And then, clear as crystal, the voice answered, "Let me out." I got up. I grabbed my pillow and blanket. I left the room. I slept on the living room sofa. And I stayed awake until dawn, staring at the ceiling, knowing that the following night, I would have to go back, because there was nowhere to run. Thursday was the day I gave up pretending I was okay. I arrived at school wearing the same clothes as the day before. My hair was tied up in a messy bun. My dark circles were so deep they looked like bruises. The biology teacher stopped me in the hallway. "Olivia, do you need to go to the infirmary?" "No, ma'am. I just didn't sleep well." She didn't insist, but I saw the concern in her eyes. The day dragged on. Each minute felt like an eternity, because I knew what awaited me that night. "Let me out." The voice wouldn't leave my head. I got home at 4:20. A note from my mother on the fridge. Same old story. This time, I didn't even try to avoid the room. I went upstairs. I pushed the door open. I went in. The daylight was still bright. The room seemed normal, harmless. I looked at the wall. "I know you're there," he said loudly. Silence. "I know you can hear me." Nothing. I took a deep breath. My hands were trembling. "What are you?" I waited. 10 seconds. 20. And then, "What are you?" My voice, echoing back. But this time, I was prepared. "No. You're not just going to repeat it. You're going to answer me." Pause. Long one. And then, a different voice. Clearer. Still muffled, but conscious. "I am. Like you." My stomach churned. "Like me? What does that mean?" "I am like you." She repeated it. Exactly the same. "Stop!" I shouted. "Stop repeating yourself! Tell the truth!" Silence. And then, slowly, the voice whispered something new. "I was like you." It was past. "What were you? A person?" "Person. Yes. Person." My heart was racing. "What happened to you?" Pause. Heavy. Suffocating. Dark. So long. Dark. "Are you under arrest?" "Prisoner." "Yes. Prisoner." Tears began to burn in my eyes. Not from fear. From something worse. From pity. "How did you get stuck there?" Silence. Long. So long that I thought she wasn't going to answer. And then, I don't remember. Just dark. Cold. Alone. I put my hand against the wall. It was cold. Is someone there with you?" "No. Only me. Always. Only me." "How long have you been there?" "Break. I don't know. Very, very long." My mind was in a panic, trying to understand, trying to process. If she was real, if she was trapped, then how? Why? "How can I help you?" The answer came quickly, desperately. "Open. Open the wall. Let me out." I received it. "Open the wall. Please, Olivia, please." She said my name. I had never said my name near a wall before. How do you know my name? I hear everything. You talk, on the phone, with your mother. I hear. My blood froze. She was listening to me. The whole time. Everything I said. Everything I did in the room. You're watching me. I don't see. I only hear. I only feel. You are warm. Alive. I am cold. Alone. Part of me wanted to help. I wanted to believe it was just a lost soul. Someone who needed rescuing. But another part, the rational part, screamed that something was wrong. Why me? Why now? You listen. You're different. The others didn't listen. The others. Silence. The others left. You stayed. Have other people lived here? Many. So many. But you listen. You talk to me. My stomach churned. And what happened to them? Pause. Long. Heavy. They're gone. They're all leaving. Are you leaving too? Her voice sounded sad. Abandoned. But I couldn't trust that. I need to think. Please. Don't leave me alone again. Please. I left the room. I closed the door. I leaned against it, breathing heavily. I went downstairs. I grabbed my phone. I searched. History of the house at Lexington, Kentucky, Maple Street 447, nothing. I searched. Disappearances in Lexington, Kentucky. Several results. But nothing specific about the house. I searched. People trapped in walls, horror stories, urban legends, nothing concrete. I was alone in this. 9 o'clock at night. My mother called. Hi, daughter. My shift is tough today. I'll be home late. Did you have dinner? Rims. It is good too. No. Nothing was right. Yes, Mom. Okay. I love you. Call me if you need anything. I love you too. I hung up and I looked at the stairs. I knew I needed to go upstairs. I needed to sleep. But now he knew my name. He knew I was listening. And she wanted me to set her free. If that made you uncomfortable, imagine what comes next. If you want to know if Olivia is going to open that wall, keep listening. 10 o'clock at night. I was sitting on the living room sofa, wrapped in a blanket, staring intently at the stairs. I knew I couldn't run away forever. I knew that eventually I would have to go up. But every time I thought about that room, that wall, that voice, my whole body froze. Please, don't leave me alone again. Was she there just now? Waiting. Listening to my footsteps around the house, I picked up my cell phone. I thought about calling my mother, but what would I say? Mom, there's a voice on my bedroom wall telling me to leave. She would think I was freaking out. Or worse, she would take me to a psychologist and medicate me until I forgot. I thought about calling my father, but we'd barely spoken since the move, and he was 3,000 kilometers away. What was he going to do? I was alone, completely alone. Midnight. I couldn't take it anymore. My eyes burned. My body begged for sleep. But I was afraid to close my eyes and wake up with she closer, more real. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step creaked under my feet. I arrived at the bedroom door. I pushed it open. I went in. All the lights were on. The room was bathed in artificial light, but it didn't matter. The presence was there, heavy, suffocating. Like an invisible pressure in the air, I could feel her. On the other side of the wall, I waited, holding my breath, and then, "You're back." The voice, clearer now, less muffled, as if she had moved closer. I didn't answer. I stood there, in the middle of the room. I knew you'd come back. I just came to sleep, I whispered. Sleep. I'll stay here. I'll protect you. Protect me from what? Silence. From the darkness. From the cold. From the loneliness. I know how it hurts. Tears burned in my eyes because she was right. He was alone. I was scared. I was lost. But something deep in my mind screamed that this was wrong. How did you end up there? I asked. Tell me the truth. Pause. Long one. I don't remember. Just dark. And then wall. Always wall. Did someone put you there? I don't know. I don't remember. I just know that it hurts. Olivia, it hurts so much. My hand trembled. How much does it hurt? Cold. Always cold. Cramped. I can't breathe properly. I can't move. Just waiting. Waiting for someone to hear. I pressed my hand against the wall. It was cold. Colder than it should have been. What if I let you go? What will you do? The answer came quickly, desperately. I'm leaving. I promise. I just want to get out. I just want to feel light, warmth. Please. But how do I do that? How do I open the wall? Tear the paper. Break. Please. I beg you. I looked at the wallpaper. Beige. Faded flowers. A thin crack near the baseboard. My hand moved, involuntarily, toward the crack, and then I stopped, because something clicked. If she had been imprisoned for so long, if so many people had lived here before, why nobody never set her free? The other people who lived here. I began. Did they hear you too? Silence. Did they talk to you too? Some. Yes. And what happened to them? Pause. Heavy. Almost. Guilty. They left. They all left. Or, my voice trembled. Or did you hurt them? No. The voice exploded. Loud. Torn. Desperate. The wall vibrated. I recoiled. Quickly. Stumbling on the bed. I didn't hurt anyone. I just wanted help. They didn't help. They just left. So why do you sound so desperate? Because I am. Do you know what it's like to be trapped? Do you know what it's like to be in the dark, alone, for years, decades, feeling every person who passes by, every voice, every laugh, and not being able to scream loud enough to be heard? She was screaming now. Her voice echoed inside the wall as if she were in a tunnel. I just want to leave. Please, please, Olivia, let me leave. Tears streamed down my face, because part of me I wanted to help. I wanted to believe. I wanted to tear up that paper and free whoever was imprisoned. But the other part, the part that still thought rationally, knew that this was wrong. Because if she were really prisoner, if it were really human, the wall wouldn't be the only problem. There would be a door, a passage, something physical, but there wasn't one. And that meant she wasn't physical. I can't, I whispered. Silence. Absolute silence. And then, low, cold, almost hissing. You're going to regret it. I froze. What? You'll regret not helping me, because now, I know where you sleep. I know where you breathe. And I can wait. My heart stopped. I can wait until you fall asleep. Until you let your guard down. And then, I'll try again. I left the room. I closed the door. I ran downstairs. I picked up my cell phone. I called my mother. Mom, can you come home? Olivia, is everything all right? It's 2 a.m. I need you to come back. Please. Daughter, I can't. I still have 4 hours of my shift. What happened? My voice broke. I'm scared. Afraid of what? How did I explain it? Just come back soon, okay? Olivia, breathe. Lock the doors. Call the police if it's anything serious. I'll be there as soon as I can. She hung up. I stood there, in the darkness of the room, staring at the stairs, and I swore I heard it, coming from upstairs. A laugh, low, muffled, coming from the wall. Friday morning dawned and I was still on the couch. I didn't sleep, not for a single minute. I sat there, hugging my legs, looking at the stairs, waiting for something. I don't know what. Footsteps, whispers coming down to me, the wall moving. Nothing happened, but the fear remained, deeply rooted, like a fingernail digging into the chest. My mother arrived at 6:15 in the morning. She found me exactly where she had left me. Olivia? She dropped her bag. She came over to me. Honey, were you up all night? I couldn't answer. I just nodded. She knelt in front of me. She held my face in both hands. What's happening? You're scaring me. My voice came out hoarse. I think there's something wrong with the house. Wrong how? My room. The wall. I hear things. She frowned. Worried, but also tired. Too tired to process. What kind of things? Voices. Crying. Someone talking to me. She took a deep breath. She ran her hand through my hair. Daughter, you're under a lot of stress. Moving. A new school. The divorce. It's normal for the mind to play tricks on you. It's not my mind, Mom. I swear. Something's wrong. Leaf. She was silent for a moment, and then she stood up. Come on, let's go up together. No. Olivia, come with me. She held out her hand. I took it, trembling. We climbed the stairs. Each step seemed heavier than the last. We arrived at my bedroom door. My mother pushed it open, daylight streaming in through the window. Everything normal, harmless. She went inside. She looked around. She knocked on the wall. This one, absent. She pressed her ear against it. She waited. I can't hear anything, daughter. She only speaks at night. My mother sighed. That sigh I already knew. The sigh of someone who doesn't know what else to do. Olivia, I'm going to make an appointment with a doctor for you, okay? Not because I think you're crazy, but because you need help, and I don't know how to help you. Tears burned in my eyes. You don't believe me. That's not it. I need you to be okay. And if there's anything I can do, whether it's fixing that wall or taking you to a therapist, I'll do it. But first, you need to rest. She hugged me, and I let her. Because I needed to. Even knowing that she didn't believe him, even knowing that I was alone in this. My mother slept until 2 in the afternoon. When she woke up, she made pancakes. She tried to cheer me up. We talked about normal things. School. TV series. Plans for the weekend. But I knew that she would leave again that night, and I was going to be alone. With she, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, my mother getting ready for her shift. There's food in the fridge. Call me if you need anything, and try to get some sleep, okay? Okay. She left, and the house fell silent. I stayed in the living room until 9, watching whatever was on TV, just procrastinating the inevitable. But the exhaustion was physical. My body was begging for rest. 9:30. I went upstairs. I went into the room. Lights were on. I sat on the bed. I looked at the wall. I know you're there, he said. His voice was firm. He tried not to tremble. Silence. And I'm not going to let you leave. Nothing. Then stop trying. I waited. 1 minute, 2, and then, slowly, the voice whispered, "Okay, I understand." guided, because the tone was different. It wasn't desperate. It wasn't angry. It was calm. You're scared. I understand. I would be too. So, are you going to stop? I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. Why? Because I need to leave. It's not a choice. It's a necessity. Need. You don't understand. I'm not just a voice. I am real. And I need space. Air. Light. But you said you didn't remember how you got stuck. I don't remember. But I feel that if I don't leave soon, I'm going to disappear. There was something in her voice, something almost honest. But I couldn't trust him. So what are you going to do? Break? I'll try. Again. Try what? And then I saw the wall. She moved. Not much, not dramatically. But the wallpaper, near the crack, it puffed up slightly, as if something had pressed from the inside. My heart raced. What are you doing? Trying. To get out. The paper puffed up again. More. 1 centimeter. 2. I stood up. I moved away from the wall. Stop. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't wait any longer. The paint started to crack, thin lines peeling, and then I heard it, nails scratching on the inside. It wasn't gentle. It was strong, desperate, as if something were digging. Stop! I yelled, but it didn't stop. The paper tore, a small hole, the size of a coin, and through that hole, I saw darkness. It wasn't just a gap between walls. It was empty, complete, as if there was nothing beyond that hole. And then, fingers, pale, thin, dirty, getting out of the hole, trying to widen the opening. I screamed. I grabbed my cell phone. I called my mother. Call. Ring. Ring. Voicemail. Mom. Mom, for the love of God. Answer. I tried again. His fingers scratched. The hole grew bigger. Tap. 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 Hello? My mother's voice. Finally. Mom. Something is coming out of the wall. What? Olivia. Are you okay? No. Come home. Now. I can't, honey. I'm in the middle of... I hung up. The fingers stopped, and then they retreated, slowly, sliding back into the hole. The wall remained still. I stood there, trembling, sweating, staring at that hole. And then the voice whispered, closer than ever. Tomorrow, I'll try again, and again, and again, until I succeed. And she laughed, low, cold, humorless. I ran out. I spent the night locked in the first-floor bathroom, sitting in the empty bathtub, hugging her legs, light on, door locked. Every sound in the house made me jump. Every creak, every sigh of the wind, every drop of water falling from the tap. My mother called 3 times. I didn't answer. I sent a message. I'm fine. I just need some space. That's a lie. I wasn't okay. I was terrified. Because now you knew. It wasn't just one voice. It wasn't just whispers. It was something physical. Something that could tap something that was trying to get out. And I didn't know how to stop. Saturday dawned. My mother arrived at 7. She found me in the bathroom. She knocked on the door. Olivia? Honey, open up. I unlocked the door. She came in. She saw me there, huddled up, trembling. She didn't say anything. She just hugged me. And I broke down. I cried. Sobs that I had been holding back for days. Mom, I swear. Ilaw, there's something wrong with that wall. I know, daughter. I believe in you. I looked at her, surprised. Do you believe it? I I don't know what's happening, but I can see that you're terrified, and that's real enough for me." She took a deep breath. "I'm going to call someone. An inspector. Someone who understands old houses. We're going to find out what's behind that wall, okay?" I nodded, clinging to her. "But today? You won't be alone today. I'm switching shifts. I'm staying home." "Thank you," I whispered. My mother spent the day trying to distract me. We baked cookies. We watched silly movies. We tried to ignore the elephant in the second-floor bedroom. But with each passing hour, I felt it. The tension. The presence. How if I knew I wasn't alone? And I was. Waiting. 8 o'clock at night. My mother and I were in the living room. She was on the sofa. I was on the floor, leaning against her. "Mom, do you think houses can be haunted?" She remained silent for a moment. "I think there are things we don't understand. And maybe that's for the best. But what if it's real? What if someone is trapped there? So we'll take it off. Whatever it is, we'll solve this together." I wanted to believe her. But deep down, I knew what was on that wall couldn't be easily solved. 10 o'clock at night, my mother fell asleep on the sofa. The double shift had taken its toll. I stayed awake, watching her soft breathing, her tired face, and then I heard it, coming from above. Thump, soft, muffled, like something heavy falling to the ground. Guided. Thump, thump, steps. No, they weren't footsteps. It was something dragging. I got up slowly. I looked at the stairs. Darkness up there. Thump. Higher now. Coming from my room. I grabbed my phone. I turned on the flashlight. I went upstairs, slowly. Each step creaked. My heart pounded in my chest. I arrived in the hallway. My bedroom door was ajar. I pushed. Here you go. The wall, the hole that had formed the previous night, was bigger. Much bigger. The size of a plate now. Torn paper. Peeling paint. Cracked plaster. And behind, darkness. Emptiness. Profound. But there was something more. One smell. Mold. Dirt. Something rotten. Like meat left to rot. My stomach churned. And then, the voice. No longer stifling, no longer distant, clear, direct, as if she were Wing's logo. "Olivia." I found it. Quickly. "You came. I knew you were coming. I didn't come here to help you." My voice trembled. "I know. But you don't need to. I can go out alone now." "No, you're not going." Silence. And then, the hole it moved. Not the hole itself, but something within Cher. A shadow, twisting, approaching. "I'm sorry, Olivia, but I can't take it anymore. I need to leave." "No!" I ran to the wall. I grabbed the duct tape from my desk. I started covering the hole, desperately. "What are you doing?" The voice exploded. Torn. Furious. "No! Don't close! Don't lock me up again!" I kept gluing, layer upon layer. And then I felt it. Something is pushing. From the inside, the tape started to tear. "I'm leaving." "You can't stop me!" The entire wall began to pulsar, as if it were breathing, puffing up, retracting, puffing up again. The wallpaper around the hole began to crack, lines spreading like spider webs. And then, fingers. Not just one, several, emerging from different cracks, scratching, digging, trying to widen the openings. I screamed, "Mom, Mom, come up here!" I heard quick footsteps on the stairs. My mother entered the room. She looked at the wall, and it froze. Because it saw The fingers, the cracks, the throbbing wall. What is that? She whispered. Let me out! Let me out! I beg you! The voice was panicked now, desperate, wild. My mother pulled me back. Get out of the room, now! We left. She slammed the door. She locked it from the outside with the key that was in the lock. On the other end, we listened. Thump, thump, thump. Something banging against the wall, hard, repeatedly. No! Don't leave me here! Please, please, Olivia! My mother was pale. Her hands were trembling. We need to get out of this house, she said. Now. But what if she leaves? What if she comes after us? My mother looked at me, her eyes wide, frightened, so we run faster. We went downstairs. We grabbed the car keys. We opened the front door, and then we listened. Coming from above, a loud sound. Dry, crack, wood cracking, and then silence. Absolute. We looked at each other, and then the voice, for the first time, coming from outside from the wall, coming from the upstairs hallway. Thank you. Thank you for letting me out. Footsteps. Slow. Going down the stairs. Thump, thump, thump. And a laugh. Low, cold, triumphant. Now, I can see you better. We ran out. If you've listened this far, comment. I heard the voice. We ran to the car. My mother, with the keys in her hand, was trembling so much she could barely get the lock right. I looked back. At the front door, still open, darkness inside, and then a silhouette. Stop at the top of the stairs, inside the house, skinny, too tall, contorted in the wrong way. I couldn't see the face, only the outline. The shape was impossible. Olivia, why are you running? The voice, coming from leaf, no longer from the wall, but from a mouth. From something real. Mom, I yelled. She finally unlocked the car. We got in. She started the engine. The silhouette moved. He went down one step, slowly, then another. Erratic movements, as if he had forgotten how to walk. Go, I shouted. My mother stepped hard on the accelerator. The car sped off. It skidded on the empty street. I looked in the rearview mirror. The silhouette was in the front doorway now, standing still, watching. And then she waved. Slow, deliberate, as if to say, see you later. We drove non-stop for 20 minutes. My mother was in shock. Her white hands gripped the steering wheel. Her eyes were fixed on the road. I was trembling, sweating cold, trying to process what had just happened. She left. She really did leave. We stopped at a gas station. We parked under the fluorescent lights. My mother turned off the engine. Silence. And then she started to cry. They weren't sobs, just tears, streaming silently down her face. I saw, she whispered. We Olivia. It wasn't normal. I know. What do we do? Do we call the police? Do we go back? No, I replied too quickly. We can't go back. She looked at me, red eyes. But our things, everything's still there. It doesn't matter. We're not going back. She took a deep breath. She wiped away her tears. Okay. So, where do we stay? I grabbed my phone. I searched for nearby hotels. There's a Motel 6 3 kilometers from here. She nodded. He started the car again. And we drove. The motel room was small, single beds, smelled of cheap disinfectant. But it had lights. It had doors that locked. And it was far from that house. My mother threw herself onto one bed. I threw myself onto the other. We stayed silent for a while, just processing. And then I asked, Mom, what do you think that was? She remained silent for a long moment. I don't know, daughter. I really don't know. Do you think That she was human? Ever? Perhaps. Or perhaps it was something that pretended to be. That hit me like a punch. Because she was right. The voice, the stories, the despair. It could all have been manipulation, a bait, to make me open that wall. But I didn't open it, I whispered. I didn't let her out. I know. But somehow, she left anyway. Heavy silence. We need to let someone know, my mother said. The next tenants, or demolish the house. I don't know. Do you think she's still there? My mother looked at me. I don't know. But I don't want to find out. We couldn't sleep. We stayed up all night. Lights on. TV on at the lowest volume. Just to fill the silence. It's 3 a.m. My cell phone vibrated. Message, unknown number. My heart stopped. Shelter. Yes. Thank you for listening to me. I dropped my phone as if it were on fire. Mother. What? I showed her the message. She turned pale. How does she have your number? I don't know. Another message. Vibration. I said I was leaving, but I lied. Other. I liked you, Olivia. You listened to me. You talked to me. You made me feel less alone. Other. So I think I'll stay close to you. Other. Just a little closer. And then, the last one. Look out the window. My blood froze. I looked at the motel window, curtains drawn. Don't look, my mother whispered. I need to know. I got up. Slowly, I approached the window. My hand was trembling. I grabbed the curtain, and I opened it, just a little. Outside, under the dim light of the parking lot, a silhouette. Stop, looking directly out our window. Thin, contorted, impossible. And then, she smiled. I saw it, even from afar, even in the darkness. That smile, too wide, too many teeth. I closed the curtain. I stepped back. My breath caught. She's here, I whispered. My mother stood up. She locked the door again. She pushed a chair against it. We leave in the morning, first light of day, and we go very far away. What if she follows? My mother didn't answer, because none of us knew the answer. We stayed up until dawn. When the sun finally rose, I looked out the window again. The silhouette had vanished, but on the glass, on the outside, there was something written, with a finger, as if someone had touched it and dragged it. 3 words. See you soon, Olivia. And below, a handprint, small, thin, with fingers that are too long. We left Lexington on the same day. My mother called in to work. She quit her job. No explanation needed. Just, I need to leave. Personal matters. We only took what was in the car. Clothes we were wearing. Wallets, cell phones, everything else stayed in that house. Photos, clothes, memories. But none of that mattered, because anything was better than going back. We drove south, Tennessee, then Alabama, then Georgia. My mother didn't want to stop. Not until she was sure we were far enough away. I checked the rearview mirror every 5 minutes, looking forward to seeing her, following, always behind us, but I never saw it. At least, not physically. 2 weeks later, we were in Savannah, Georgia, small apartment, temporary. My mother got a job at a local hospital. I enrolled in a new school. Everything seemed normal, but I knew it wasn't, because every night, before going to sleep, I would check the walls, all of them. He pressed his ear against the wall. He listened. He waited for any sound, any breath, any whisper. Nothing, but the feeling of being observed. It never went away. A month later, I received another message, unknown number. Again, my heart stopped. Shelter. I miss you. I didn't reply. I blocked the number. 2 days later, another message. Different number. You can't block me forever. I blocked them again, and again, and again. But they kept coming, always with different numbers. Sometimes they were messages. Sometimes photos. Photos of the street where I used to live. From my apartment building. From my bedroom window. From outside. As if someone were there, watching. But when I looked, there was nobody there. My mother was noticing it too. She didn't speak, but I could see it. In her eyes. In the way she checked the locks 3 times before going to sleep. In the way she avoided being alone. One night, she came into my room. Olivia, you still feel her. I didn't need to ask who she was. Sometimes, I admitted, me too. She sat on my bed. I think we couldn't escape her. But she's not here. We're 1,000 kilometers away. I know. But, you know when you feel like someone is watching you, even when there's no one around? I knew it. Perfectly. Mom, what do we do? She remained silent for a long moment. I don't know, daughter, I really don't know. 3 months later, life went on, school, work, routine. But I never stopped looking back. I never stopped checking the walls. I never stopped feeling. And then, it happened. It was a Tuesday late afternoon. I was in my room doing my homework, and I heard thump, soft, muffled, coming from the wall next to my bed. Guided. No, it wasn't possible. Thump, thump. I stood up slowly. I looked at the wall. Unlike the one in Lexington. White paint, no wallpaper, no cracks. But the sound. Thump. No, I whispered. No, no, no. I pressed my ear against the wall, and I heard breathing, slow, heavy. Olivia. Tears burned in my eyes. You can't be here. We moved. We ran away. Do you think walls can hold me back? Her voice, clear, as if she were right there. You listened to me. You spoke to me. You let me in. Into your head. Into your heart. I didn't let it happen. Yes, you did. The moment you listened to me. The moment you answered. You gave me space. And now, I can be anywhere you are. Reque, tremendo. What do you want from me? Silence. And then, almost affectionately, the voice whispered. Just company. I told you. I hate being alone. Go away. I can't. You're mine now. I ran out of the room. I screamed for my mother. She came. We went upstairs together. We entered the room. What it was. I pointed to the wall. She's here. She followed me. My mother came closer. She pressed her ear against it. He waited. Olivia. I can't hear anything. But she was here. She spoke to me. My mother hugged me, tightly. Daughter, maybe you need help. Really, a therapist. Someone who understands trauma. It's not trauma. It's real. But I saw it in her eyes. She no longer believed. Or maybe she doesn't. If I wanted to believe. Because believing meant admitting that we would never be safe. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I listen to it every night. It doesn't matter where I sleep. It doesn't matter which wall. She always finds a way. Sometimes it's whispers. Sometimes it's knocks. Sometimes just breathing. She no longer tries to leave because she already left. And now she just wants company. My company. So why am I telling you this? Because I need someone to know. I need someone to believe in me. And because if you're listening to this now, if you've made it this far, perhaps you also hear strange things at night. Perhaps you also feel that you are not alone. And if you feel, don't answer. Don't talk to her. Because the moment you do that, the moment you recognizes the presence, you give her what she wants. Space. In your mind. In your life. Forever. Last night, I heard her again. But this time, it didn't come from my wall. It came from the wall of the apartment next door. And the voice. It wasn't mine. It was the neighbors, yelling, "There's something on the wall. Something's trying to get out." And I understood. She doesn't just want me. She wants all. Each person who listens, each person who responds. She was never trapped in a wall. She only used that as a gateway. And now, she can go anywhere. To be anywhere. Since someone... Listen. If you listened to this story all the way to the end, if you felt a shiver down the back of your neck, if you looked at your own wall just now, I am really sorry, but maybe she's already listening to you too. And when night falls, when you lie down, and to hear something from the other side of your wall, remember, don't answer, because I know the answer. You'll be next. If you want more stories like this, just follow the voice. And if you've made it to the end, comment, "I heard the whispers."